Okay, welcome back. There are two ways to actually submit an expense report or get it ready, capture it, or import it, capture it, and send it on its way. There's two methods that we recommend be used the most. I'm going in this tape. I'm going to show you the one what I call a single PDF. Let me explain what I'm talking about first before we get to before me actually showing it. Some people will fill out that expense reporting form or the cover sheet in its entirety and print it. They will then lay it on top of their receipts and scan all of those as one PDF. And that's probably that's one of the ways to do, one of the two ways we like you to do it. Whether or not it's easier for you, that's up to you. You can choose which way you want to do it. I'm going to show you how to do it this way, okay? In this little training episode. So we're going to come down here to this key, this button down here, and we're going to click import. We come to the import screen. And the first thing we're going to do is we got to find where we save that PDF. So I'm going to hit my browse button, and I'm going to actually go to, if you'll give me just a second, I can find it fairly quickly. I've got it saved, and I do recommend that you have some sort of system set up on your desk, on your laptop, or your desktop computer where you save your reports. One thing I will caution you, when you do save them and you name cover sheets and PDFs that have your documentation, do not make the names too long. YOOZ does not like long named files for whatever reason. It'll only record or download part of it. So keep them short and to the point. Okay, I've got it in training and training examples. So this is what I call a single PDF. It was an expense report, cover sheet, and documentation scanned as one document. And so that's the one I would like to play with. Now, here's the key. Company. We have all these companies that are listed here, but we really only deal with three companies. Aimbridge. And all Aimbridge properties, Channel Point, Channel Sky, TMI, and Pillar properties are recognized as Aimbridge properties. So when you determine, let's say I went to see an Aimbridge property, okay, and this is an expense report for an Aimbridge property. You tell it this is an Aimbridge property, and there's a reason for that, because the properties are listed by what corporate entity they're under. Some expense accounts are done the same way. So whether or not it's Aimbridge, Channel Point, Channel Sky, Pillar, or TMI, just choose Aimbridge. Okay. We also have Evo and all the Evo properties, and we have one lodging. So the main corporate entities that we play with, especially in JDE, because that bank accounts, is the shared Aimbridge with all the properties that I listed. Again, Channel Point, Channel Sky, Pillar, TMI. Evolution has its own bank account, and it pays out of that for all its properties, and one lodging. And even at the time of this recording, we may have others that come in, and we will work it that way. So I tell YOOZ that this is going to be an Aimbridge event. Okay. Now, we have three different types of documents. Okay. Please never use credit note. I've had to reject some because they're credit note. Credit note means you owe me money. The purpose of YOOZ is for us to pay you your money. Okay. So you're either importing a payable invoice or you're importing another document. In this instance here, when we have the expense report cover sheet or report form on top with the documentation behind it in one PDF, you always say payable invoice, okay? There's nothing else to do here. So we want to add this document over to this side over here. Now, I've done this before. I've used it before. It says, are you sure you want to do it? And again, doing the number of examples I do, you just say import all. And so it's ready for me to import. What you see is right down here in the lower right-hand corner. So I'm going to say import, okay? It's done importing. Again, I'm not going to use the web-based directional icons or buttons or arrows. We still work in YOOZ. You either can hit exit or you can hit the back button to go back to the main screen. I'm going to go back. If you'll notice, it's right here. It's using. That means there's an optical character reader and it's reading all the pages of the document that has just been submitted. It's my document. That's why it's listed under, on the left side, under my documents, and it's using. And sometimes I get a little impatient, so we're gonna see how long it takes. Sometimes it takes it a little longer than others. YOOZ is not super fast. It's not there. There are just those days, like us all, when we work faster than others. Some days we're fighting headaches and other things, and I'm sure YOOZ is too. So we tend to we'll give it one more moment to finish kind of screening it. Not only is it reading your cover sheet for the pertinent information, but it also tries to sharpen the image on all your documentation, your receipts and everything that you've scanned in. Okay, it's not going to do it for us. When it finishes using, it would put the document number here, but I'm a little impatient. So I'm going to go ahead and go into this thing, okay? I'm just going to click inside it. Okay. Well, apparently it's really having troubles. Okay, now see, all right, it's finished. It's got that portion. Now, I bet if I hit the back button one time, it's still using, but I'm going to force it. So let's just go in anyway. All right. Now, if I force it, then I have to go in and add some of the stuff it should do automatically. So I'm going to put my name up here. All right, so there's my number. The AP account, this has nothing to do where you're allocating it out. The AP account is $200,000 here. That's what we want. The invoice date, because I did not give it a chance to read it, and I've got it over there, I can see it's 2-20-18 based on what I have over here. The invoice number at the time when I did this, it's going to be ER 010318. Okay. And so now I can tell that it's loaded, and the reason I can tell that I've got my attachments, I have 2 pages. So this expense report has the cover sheet and 1 page of documentation. I click the down arrow and I have a receipt here. Okay. It's not a real receipt. I've just used something, but your receipts would be listed here. If you have 10 pages, you have 10 pages. Doesn't matter. Okay. And so what I've got here, let's just pretend for a moment I've got all these charges. You can see it here. I got $599.60 for airfare. What I need to do at this point is to allocate. I have to tell JDE what GL code to use, how much is going to go to that GL code, and who's going to pay the bill. Okay, so for transportation, and I'm going to charge all these to the Aimbridge corporate office. So my transportation and lodging, this up here is going to go to 1 GL code. So I would come here to my GL account. I know it's a corporate account because I'm going to charge Aimbridge corporate. I type CORP. And I start to see the listing of all the corporate GLs under there. Okay, so I need to come down and find corporate lodging and travel, general lodging and travel, and there it is, 60021.0001. So I say, okay, that's the GL code we want to hit. My amount is this much. It's right there. So I'm going to type 1245.76. And I know there's a property here. I can get rid of it. I just hit the backspace button. It's gone. I want to charge Aimbridge corporate. So, and I know the Aimbridge corporate's BU number is 8,000,001. So I can start typing 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. and it'll bring it up to me right there. So I have the GL code, the amount, who's paying. YOOZ notice calls this dimension 1, dimension 2, dimension 3. Okay. So now I've allocated, notice that I started out with a big allocation amount of, I didn't put my amount in there. I'm sorry. How much was it totaled? That's my mistake. I need to get it in there because I didn't let YOOZ do its job. My total allocation is 9,119. Excuse me, 1936.68. Okay. Now if I look, I've allocated down here, it's in red because I'm not in balance. I've allocated this much. I still need to allocate $690.92. Okay. So now I'm going to look at my second set of charges. Meals. I have $190.92 meals. It doesn't matter whether you're allocating to a corporate entity or you're charging hotels back. You must separate travel and meals. They have their own separate GL code. Okay? So this is meals. It is corporate. So I'm going to come to dimension 1. I'm going to type CORP. And I'm going to look for corporate meals. And I know most of these start in the 6,000. So I'm looking for corporate meals. I got to come down just a little farther. Corporate meals and entertainment. Okay. I know my meal total is $190.92. And I'm charging Aimbridge again. So if you didn't know the BU number, I would just start typing AIMBRID, and there it is, Aimbridge Hospitality LLC. Okay, I click down here. Now, I've allocated a little over $1,400. I have $500 left, and that was for employee relations. So I come back to Dimension 1, Corp, for corporate code. And I'm looking for employee relations, and I think that's 27, right? Yeah. Employee relations, $500. And Aimbridge again, 8,000,001. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And it's Aimbridge Hospitality. Now, having these here, these little two Hyatts down here, doesn't matter because there's no charge to them. YOOZ will only process those things that have something in dimension 2. My number is blue. Here means I've allocated everything. So it's time for me to send this on to my employer. Now, if let's say I was getting ready to do this, but I had an emergency and I can't do it right now. So I want to save this and come back to it. There's a little button over here called pending. If you hit pending, it says everything you've done, okay? You can go back to your, and you notice it's right here. It's pending. It's still on the left side because I still own it. It's still in my queue. So let's say I take care of my important errand. I come back, so I'm ready to submit to my approver. So I click submit. Jamie Lee is mine. You always uncheck this checkbox and you click submit. Now it's going to send Jamie an email because she's my approver saying she's got something to approve in YOOZ. But I've done that and it has moved. I guarantee you no longer see it on this side of the screen. It's over here somewhere amongst all these. There it is. I submitted it, but it's owned by Jamie Lee right now. It's in her queue. She is the owner of it to approve, okay? All right, this ends this training session on using what I call a single PDF import. The next training video is what happens if you want to import your cover sheet separately and all your documents together and then marry them together to submit it. I'll show you that in the next training video. Thank you.